Hi, I'm Mary McNeil, Coordinator for the Ascension United Against Substance Abuse Coalition. It will be my pleasure to present a series of talks on substance abuse issues in our parish, especially concerning youth and underage drinking. Our coalition actually began in 1998 with a group of concerned citizens. In 2001, we received federal funds from the Office of Juvenile Justice that allowed us to expand and increase our program. Our coalition is made up of representatives from all over our community. It includes law enforcement, health care professionals such as the health unit, the hospital, and physicians. We have representatives from our school board, parents and teens, ministers, and a wide variety of community and government agencies involved in our coalition. Our first major project as a coalition involved doing a survey and gathering information on the actual status of Ascension Parish and the needs that we have in the area of substance abuse. What we learned from comparing our parish to even our state was disturbing. We found that Ascension Parish has a higher rate in almost every category concerning youth and drinking and most of the major drugs. Based on these and other facts that we gathered in this survey, our coalition decided to focus on the problem of youth and underage drinking and drug use. You may have seen our coalition out in the community at health fairs, at the schools, distributing material. We have had a wonderful youth council that has done great work in our community. And our biggest project coming up is actually a media campaign called Parents That Host. Hope that you have seen that, and if you haven't, be looking for more information on that. We are a part of your community, and we want to make a difference in our area. The coalition is managed and under the direction of the Ascension Mental Health and Substance Abuse Clinic in Gonzales. This clinic has provided match money for our grant and provided staff support to help our coalition function and be more effective. The center is in the Ascension complex. It provides substance abuse assessment, treatment, and referrals. It provides individual and family counseling. There's a juvenile justice program that provides counseling through that program in this agency, and many other services. As we did surveys and assessed our community, we were concerned because many people in our area don't know of the services available in the area of substance abuse. They don't know where to go to get more information, where to go, or how do you get a child drug tested? How do you talk to your kids about drugs? We want to get information out to the community, but we also want to provide resources and information of where you can go for help. That's the whole point and purpose of this program and information that we will be distributing. We became aware and concerned several months ago that many residents in our community are not aware of services available. Certainly, Katrina and Rita have increased our population. Hundreds took refuge in our parish and stayed. But even before the hurricanes, Ascension Parish already had an increase in population. People wanting to get out of the congested city and move to a more rural area, a place where there are good schools, good food, and good people. We want Ascension Parish to be healthy, prosperous, and a good place to raise families. That's why our coalition is taking this time and effort to get out information to parents and to the public about the problems of substance abuse. I'd like to share with you some of the upcoming programs that we're going to be presenting. I realize that we only will be scratching the surface on many of these topics, but I hope it will spark interest so that many of you will go the extra step and get extra and more information, learn, listen, tune into our shows, and then join us in our effort to spread information about substance abuse effects on individuals and especially young people. Some of the topics coming up are, what were you thinking? Adolescent brain development. There have been many new discoveries and information gained about the adolescent brain. Our concern as a coalition, of course, is making that brain healthy and functional and its maximum potential. Our concern, of course, would be the substance abuse effects on the adolescent brain. We're going to have a look at what alcohol, what different drugs do to the brain, especially in the teenage years. It's fascinating, and I hope you will join me as we at least scratch the surface of this particular topic. We'll also be doing a film presentation called This Place. This Place is a video that explores how society and the world we live in has changed dramatically in the last 40, 50 years. What our kids are actually being exposed to every day. The effects of media, TV, music, advertising, movies, and what that has done to cause changes in our way of thinking, our attitudes, and our approach to life, especially in the area of substance abuse. Don't miss this program. I think it will motivate you, it probably will shock you, but it ends with a very hopeful note and a way that we as a community can address these issues and problems and be a positive influence. Which brings me to our next topic. We're going to explore the parents' influence on their own kids. And despite all of the effects of media and society, still the greatest influence in a child's life are their parents and the people that care for them every day and that interact with them every day. We're going to look at some ways you can learn to talk to your child, to communicate, how to safeguard some of the negative effects of substance abuse that's coming at them every day. We're also going to look at statistics. In our area, we're going to look at the problem of underage drinking and actually what's going on in our parish. We'll be telling you about a new media campaign, the Parents That Host Lose the Most campaign, that focuses on the problem of underage drinking. As our coalition actually started to look at the problem of teenage drinking particularly, we wanted to know, where are the kids getting the alcohol? It might surprise you, because the number one place that the kids are getting alcohol is in the home. Not at the convenience stores, not with fake IDs, not even necessarily with their friends. We want to educate parents about this and maybe give you some things to think about and some possible solutions to monitoring this. We also want to address the issue of the parties that many parents are hosting for their young people. The motives are good. I think a lot of parents come up with the idea that, well, if they're going to drink anyway, I want them to be at my house so I can monitor and control it. Well, therein is the problem. It's really hard to monitor and control when you have an open party. There are teens of all different ages. It's hard to know the ages of all the kids that come to your party. Most of the time you don't know their medical history. You don't know as they come and go and what things might affect them. And parents are opening themselves up to a lot of risk and liability. Also, of course, the effects of the teenagers. We'll be talking about that campaign and that in more depth. We're also going to be looking at specific drugs that are in our community that the youth seem to be gravitating toward, the effects on their bodies, the signs and symptoms. We're going to look at ways that you can determine, or at least try to determine, if your child has a problem or one of their friends, where to go for help, what to do. And last, we want to talk about prevention. What can you do to protect your child? What kind of things will help monitor and slow down the effects of substance abuse and use among our young people? I'd like to share with you now some statistics that should get your attention. They're not meant to alarm you, but I think our public and our parents need to know what's going on nationally, what's going on in our state, and what's going on in our parish. These are just a few highlights. We'll be exploring more statistics as we go along in the presentations. 7,000 young people under the age of 16 have their first drink of alcohol every day. Average age to begin tasting and experimenting with alcohol is 11 for boys, 13 for girls. Adolescents who start drinking before the age of 15 are 4 times more likely to have a problem with alcohol as an adult, likely to become an alcoholic. 4 times the risk than if they had started at 21. Studies reveal that alcohol consumption by adolescents results in brain damage. It impairs intellectual development. It's been estimated that over 3 million teenagers are alcoholics. Several million more have serious drinking problems. Underage drinking cost the citizens of Louisiana $1.1 billion. This was in 2001. $416 million in medical cost and loss of work alone. The 3 leading causes of death for 15 to 24-year-olds are automobile crashes, suicide, and homicide. Alcohol is the leading factor in all 3 of these. Ascension Parish statistics for the age of initiation, the use of alcohol in the past 30 days from the survey, and binge drinking, which is considered 5 drinks in a setting or consecutively, as well as the use of many drugs, was higher in Ascension Parish than in the state. 1/3 of 6th and 9th graders obtain alcohol from their own home. Children cite other people's homes as the most common setting for drinking. As you can see from these statistics, there is cause for concern. We need to intervene and stand up for our young people to make Ascension Parish a healthy, prosperous, and good place to raise families. With 3 out of 4 of our teens, that's 75% of 12 to 19-year-olds having experimented with alcohol, and 1 out of 2 with drugs, it's time for parents to face the truth. We need to be proactive. Parents may not always realize how our attitudes and actions affect our children. They are listening, whether we realize it or not. They see our actions and our attitudes. They pick up on our beliefs and attitudes. That can be good or bad, but we need to be aware. Teens who learn a lot about the risk of drugs from their parents are up to 54% less likely to use drugs. An example of this in a study is 30% of adolescents report using marijuana when their parents do not strongly disapprove of drug use. In contrast, only 5.5% of teens used when their parents strongly oppose drug use. Parents may not realize the pressure that teens feel to start using drugs, alcohol, and tobacco products at increasingly younger ages. It takes an average of 2 years before a parent knows their child is on drugs. Our Communities That Care survey shows there are certain risk factors and protective factors that affect drug and alcohol use among our kids. Peer pressure. Elementary children usually express an anti-drug, anti-alcohol, and anti-smoking attitude. They have a hard time understanding why anyone would use these substances. In middle school, they're exposed to peers and others who use drugs, and they often shift toward greater acceptance of these behaviors. It is true, by the way, that young people who associate with peers who engage in alcohol or substance abuse are much more likely to engage in the same behavior. Peer drug use has consistently been found to be among the strongest predictors of substance abuse among youth. Peers influence as puberty begins. We also need to realize that boys and girls have different risk factors as they enter puberty. Boys tend to increase in aggressive behavior, while girls tend to have a higher incidence of depression. Girls may lose self-confidence and self-worth. They're more vulnerable to outside influences. They are at higher risk for sexual abuse, which has been associated with substance abuse. Boys tend to experience feelings of anxiety and mood swings. They crave exploration of things associated with being grown up, which includes the use of alcohol and drugs. Some protective factors might be meaningful activities at school or in the community or at home, recognized and rewarded for their contributions and opinions, attendance, participation in religious services or church or youth activities, good social skills, belief in wrong and right, in-home drug testing. These items can be protective factors to keep your child from engaging in drugs and alcohol. I hope you will join us as we look at the effects of the media, of the society changes, on the attitudes about drinking, and on our young people. I hope you'll join us for the brain development piece, where we explore how drugs and alcohol affect the brain and changes in our understanding of how the adolescent brain responds to drugs and to alcohol. Our community is our business, and it is important to every one of us to be as informed and educated as we can. Join us on Cable 21 to continue looking at these issues. Thank you for your time and attention, and I look forward to seeing you next time.